Hey, all you magical beings out there, welcome in or welcome back. My name is Tara, and I've been reading tarot for over 2 decades now. My intentions are to shed light on the unknown and provide confirmation for what is already known. Take what resonates and leave the rest. So grab your snacks, your crystals, or your cat, and let's see what cosmic mischief is about today. So, guys, the pre-poll we did today tells a story of a historical romance. A historical romance is where the protagonist, the main character, traits usually include honesty and bravery, which are necessary in bringing a war from a war-torn country to peace. Okay, so we got that for, I guess the main kind of theme of what's going on here that Spirit wants to talk about today. And as far as the conflict going on, we got some interesting ones. So we pulled the overpopulation conflict, carrying on a legacy conflict, child labor conflict, and workplace issues conflict. For conflict resolution, to resolve these issues, we're going to dive deeper in all of our clarification polls on everything, but this is just the main skeleton of the situation, and then we're going to dive deep. So for the conflict resolution, essentially, what can be done to resolve these issues? We got competing. So these are different styles of resolving issues. So we got competing is assertive and uncooperative. In this mode, you try to satisfy your own concerns at the expense of the other person. So Spirit is actually recommending to use that style of resolution to solve these issues. The next conflict resolution style that we got is coexist/camaraderie, and accepting cannot change the situation. So then next we drew cards for stakes at hand, which for stakes at hand, that tells us what does one have to gain and or lose by not successfully resolving these conflicts. It answers the question, why does this matter? So we got overcoming a personal weakness, person versus self, spiritual death and damnation versus paradise and redemption, eternal misery versus eternal glory, person versus God stakes, agreeing to disagree, person versus person. So super interesting. Agreeing to disagree, accepting cannot change the situation, coexist/camaraderie. It's very very on point there, very on target. Now, my first thoughts, with the whole child labor and workplace issues thing, I usually, when someone thinks of, child labor, they think of, children in, textile factories, and, sweatshops and stuff like that. But, I feel there's also child labor in more, I want to say first world situations where children are say for example, they have a YouTube channel or something like that. And some people might not agree with children making money, also child actors and actresses. A lot of people have problems with that. anyone that posts like, videos of their kids doing cute stuff or just doing whatever, well, not whatever, but like reels you see on Instagram or whatever, like that, there's a lot of people who don't approve of that, and they think it's exploitative. I can't say that word, but yeah, I mean, our world is full of diversity and different opinions, different beliefs, different values, and Spirit is suggesting the solution to this issue is to coexist and form a camaraderie, accepting you cannot change the situation. There's always going to be children making money out there. So, yeah. I guess that's an issue between parties in this romance situation going on. So the next thing, overcoming a personal weakness, person versus self, competing, is assertive and uncooperative. In this mode, you try to satisfy your own concerns at the expense of the other person. Overcoming a personal weakness. So, like, to me, that's saying that there's a lot of people in this world, and in order to carry on a legacy, you have to compete. Like, it's important that, like, you assert yourself and put yourself first in this situation. If you don't, you're going to have severe consequences. Spirit is suggesting spiritual death and damnation versus paradise and redemption, eternal misery versus eternal glory. So perhaps one of these characters that's involved in this romance is very, like, self-sacrificing, and for lifetimes after lifetimes has continuously sacrificed themselves, like, for other people, or thinking they were benefiting other people by sacrificing themselves, but in reality they were doing everyone a disservice, because they could have contributed in a very positive way. That's why it's going so far as to say spiritual death and damnation, because they could have contributed in a very, like, positive way, and they got sidetracked, thinking they were doing the right thing, but they're not. And then for the obstacle that's involved in the situation, we got temporal obstacle, which could be like a deadline, a wormhole closing, that kind of thing. So it's more of like an abstract, but it is also like a concrete kind of obstacle in a way, I guess. Like, it is, like, I'm thinking more maybe this is like a deadline, and almost in a very literal sense, or like kind of like almost like a funny sense in a way, like literal death, because, like, it's saying, like, spiritual death and damnation if this legacy is not carried on, and you get lost in I want to say lost in the sauce, but I don't know. I don't think that is the proper way to use that. But get lost in the sea of so many others and comparing yourself to them and thinking that you can't possibly compete because there's just too many people. and just giving up. And that's, that's the problem. And essentially Spirit's saying that if this is not worked over in this lifetime, there's going to be serious consequences. And then for the main, what's this all about? We got conflict resolution. So Spirit really is trying to focus on resolving these conflicts. In order for this romance to take place, these conflicts of, I feel like this is a lot of, beliefs and values, attitudes going on here, really need to get addressed. And we'll dive deeper into that once we pull some more cards for the characters involved in this situation. So whoever's watching this, you could resonate with one of these characters, or you could just find this interesting and hang out for the ride. Or you might even, know a couple people who this reminds you of. So we got the first partner of this romance is the character type is a stock character, archetypal, fixed set of personality traits. The second character is a symbolic character, represents a concept or theme larger than themselves, like a legion of outcasts. And I found that very intriguing because we got the romance historical, and it was saying how honesty and bravery are traits that this character has, the main character has, which are necessary in bringing a war-torn country to peace. So this legacy, I feel like, has the reason why it has such significance towards spiritual death and damnation, why Spirit's being so dramatic about it, is because the purpose of this symbolic character is extremely important for society as a whole. And so I asked Spirit, what are the, I guess, kind of the being type of these characters, and we got Ghost, which I am super intrigued about, and Mothman. So, and then I pulled some cards as far as kind of the career, a kind of more a identifier, societal participation approach. And we got tarot reader and driver. So there's somebody who is either a literal ghost spirit, or they feel like they're a ghost in society. Nobody really notices them. They don't really fit in, or they feel invisible. And they're a tarot reader. And we have Mothman, which I honestly don't really know that much about Mothman. But he's, as far as I know, this mysterious, spooky creature that flies around in the skies, and kind of similar to a ghost, kind of invisible, but sticks to the shadows, that kind of thing. And they identified as a driver, so that could be taxi driver, Uber driver, truck driver, NASCAR driver, getaway driver. All kinds of driving going on. It could also mean that they're a leader, they're meant to be in a leader role. So that's pretty cool. And so we're going to pull some traits, because especially the stock character, archetypal fixed set of personality traits, we want to see what those traits are. And for funsies, I guess we'll roll the dice, see what spirit, how many, out of the 7-sided die, how many traits does spirit want to pinpoint here for us. 3. Thank you for being reasonable, spirit, because if you said 7, I'm like, oh my god. We got clumsy. These beings tend to fail more often at physical activities and tend to laugh at failure instead of becoming upset. Okay. So they're a good sport about things, even when the going gets tough. So, by the way, for anyone who's new or hasn't watched any of my other videos where I've used these cards, these are traits that I took from the game The Sims 4. I've played that game since like 8th grade, which was like 2004, I think. I was in 8th grade. Oh, so it's been a long time. But yeah, I really love that game. So, but yeah, I really like the traits that they have, like the descriptions and stuff. I find them comical and also like interesting and very like accurate and useful to describe people or beings, whatever. All right, so we got 2 more. We got cheerful. These beings tend to be happier than other beings. And we got animal affection. Gives better than average boost to relationship scores when meeting a new animal. Have better chance at succeeding with their social interactions too. So we got an animal lover here. Somebody who's naturally gifted at communicating with animals. And yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, and what about Mothman, spirit? How many? Just 1? Okay. Let's see. A true master. Oh my gosh. Wow. This Mothman is pretty impressive, huh? Can detect automatically 3 traits of the target. 3 traits! Oh my god, that's crazy. Can transform as a bat and teleport. Oh, I think this is like if you're a vampire in The Sims, you become like a true master. So maybe they're like a vampire of sorts. Like maybe that's a secret of like actually the archetype of Mothman. Can cast an unreal ethereal being that target speaks to for a short time. The target will gain some of their social needs for this. Wow, that's so interesting. That actually like reminds me of like, I don't know if any of you are familiar with the app. It's called like Necrometer, I think. I was just using that like yesterday, and I was thinking like this is probably like really good for people that are like super lonely, because you know, it can kind of like give them a way to talk to talk to a being, like just to hear like a voice and hear like words, you know, and like it just kind of can help, I think, in that way. But yeah, that's really cool. All right, so next we're gonna see like what are some beliefs in action. Actually, we're just gonna do like one belief in action for each that's the most prevalent to the situation. Or we'll do like one positive and one negative. How about that? So like so this can be the positive one for the ghost archetype character. This is a belief that's working for them. Moral development, obedience, and punishment orientation. Okay. So being morally inclined with a mentality of obedience and punishment works for them, I guess it's saying. And then a negative one that's not working for them is theory of value. social and political philosophy, value for society, what ought we do together. Interesting, because this competing was saying is assertive and uncooperative. In this mode, you try to satisfy your own concerns at the expense of the other person. And this is saying this is the negative belief that's not working for this person. So they're definitely tied to this conflict going on here. All right. But the obedience and punishment orientation is like working for them. Like, how is that working for them? Hold on. All right, so I saw clarity on this whole moral development, obedience, and punishment orientation, and I think what I'm getting from it is basically saying, I pulled a Black Moon Aries, so your desire to do things first and do them your own way may be met with opposition by authority figures, which can lead you to question your ability to lead. When you learn to stop relying on others and follow your instincts, you'll gain and experience growth. So essentially, like, what this person, I don't know why I said you, but what this person, could be you, but I'm just saying, it gotta be a little more general, right? What this person, believes to be obedience and reasonable punishment is working for them. But like society may not agree with it, or like a group of people that are involved in this person's life may not agree with it. So that's also where we come back to this, like, agreeing to disagree, coexisting, camaraderie, accepting cannot change the situation. There's like understanding that, you know, people are going to have their own opinions, and most people have very strong opinions, and being able to develop like one's own strong opinions, knowing that they're meant to achieve great things, and stop questioning yourself and your attitude about obedience and punishment and what that means. Okay? And then for Mothman here, we're going to see what his belief that is working for him is. Human nature. Are humans intrinsically good, evil, combination of the two, or neither? Interesting. So I guess whatever, like, Mothman's belief in that, or like that's how they look at, they keep an open mind, like whenever like they are evaluating somebody's nature. They keep an open mind. They question all of these things. They don't just say they're either good or evil. It could also be a combination of the two, or neither. So that's what's working for them. And that also really ties into, like, can automatically detect 3 traits of the target. So they have, like, really good discernment skills. And then the one that's not working for them is social contract orientation. So again, a lot of things like what we do together, social contract orientation. We're seeing some common themes here. What's not working for this romantic situation, the people involved here, the beings involved here. seems a lot to do with, like, they both really need to get out of this complacent attitude, or I don't want to say complacent, but like, I guess, like, yeah, like being complacent with mediocrity, or like falling into the background. They need to become leaders and stand up and really take charge of the situation, and become competitive and assertive and uncooperative, and lead the way to what they believe is correct. But also, like, agreeing to disagree. Like, there's always going to be people that don't agree. And there's also going to be a lot of people that do agree. And you won't really ever be able to meet those people if you don't stand up for what you believe in. Workplace issues and accepting cannot change situation. So for that, so like this whole situation's like contradictory in a lot of ways. So it's like hard to decipher. But I'll definitely, I'm gonna pull some more clarifiers on this whole thing going on here, because that's a little tough to figure out. Like, what the workplace issues are. Accepting cannot change the situation. Yeah. Okay, so we're asking Spirit, like, for a clarifier on the workplace issues situation, and I decided to pull another conflict card to see if it would shed some light. And we got wage inequality / living wage, which that, like, really makes a lot of sense, because it ties into, like, the competition thing. Like, if all of the wages were 100% equal, that would cause problems in society, because there would be, like, no motivation for people to grow, and for innovation to occur. Like, there needs to be diversity going on in every aspect of life. Like, there always needs to be outliers in every situation. But as far as, like, a living wage, that's also tough, because it's like there's so many layers to that, of like what would be considered a living wage. And yeah, I mean, I'm not really trying to get into all that right now, but that would take me, like, I would have to write, like, a whole, like, essay on that, so, like, and all that. But yeah, I mean, so I just asked Spirit, like, is there anything that they want to say, that Spirit wants to say, like, about this, that can, like, really just, like, kind of encompass, like, what's going on. And we got Cancer North Node. Lessons and rewards around themes of learning to fully embrace your emotions, letting go of the need to control, allowing yourself to be taken care of by others, and embrace balance between work and play. So that ties into, like, the coexist / camaraderie. But then we got this, like, social contract orientation. Now I think I kind of understand where that was going. Because at first I was thinking, like, maybe it's saying, like, and then, like, the what ought we do together being in the negative position. What ought we do together? There needs to be a balance between how much you rely on others and how much you rely on yourself. And this couple that we're talking about here has been kind, like I said, like just falling off to the wayside and giving up on really falling into success with their goals, because they're just thinking like, you know, they gotta follow the lead with society and everything like that. So there needs to be a balance of that. And so as far as like, oh geez, I picked this card up off the floor and there's hair on it. That's so gross. Hair. I got long hair, guys. All right, it happens. So letting the need, letting go of the needs of control. Okay, I'm not gonna edit that out. Just gonna go with the flow. Go with the flow. I was like cringe, but it's okay. So what I was thinking would be interesting is to see, it's saying like embrace your emotions with this situation. Accepting cannot change the situation. Embrace your emotions. So like what are they feeling right now? Like what is the ghost archetype feeling? We need to ask spirit that. So like what does the ghost character need to embrace as far as their emotions go? Being bold, assertive. Very on point there. They need to embrace their assertiveness. And I guess we'll put it right here. That's fine. Okay, and it says emotions, so we'll do one more for ghosty. Cross. So spirit is suggesting to embrace the emotion of being cross. So I guess like kind of, because it did say, spirit did say that like they're cheerful, very affectionate towards animals, tend to laugh at failure. They're saying to be more assertive and more like stern, like cross, like you better take me seriously or else, like that kind of attitude. And then what about Mothman? What emotions should Mothman embrace? Being sneaky. Ooh. They're feeling sneaky. True master. So like I feel like that's saying like to be more, to embrace this trait more. Like Mothman does, like I was saying earlier, like sneak around in the shadows, right? But it's also saying that this character, this person, being, falls into fault with social contracts that they're signing up for. And they need to step out of that. So maybe what I'm thinking, like, maybe a way that they could do that is to kind of like keep what they learn about people to themselves. Like yeah, I don't know, you guys let me know what you think in the comments. If anyone feels like commenting, that would be wonderful. Should get some engagement around her. Alright, and what else, Spirit? What other emotion do they, being courageous? So yeah, they need to embrace like their emotion of like being sneaky and courageous. So having the courage to be assertive, compete with others, carry on this legacy. What is the legacy, though? You need to ask what the legacy is. Alright, so I asked Spirit, like, what's this legacy have to do with? And I was guided to draw from the Selena Blessings deck. And we got White Moon and Virgo. So, in a past life, this couple developed the virtue of duty and modesty. They may have been a doctor who saved lives or served via other avenues. As a result, they are worthy of good health or have the qualities of a healer. So, yeah, I mean, there is tons of competition in the health industry, and you have, like, pharmaceutical companies all the time, like, killing off people and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, right? When anybody tries to actually heal someone, like, with a cure for something, it seems like that's the narrative that goes on. I mean, right when, like, COVID was happening, there was a company, I can't remember the name of them off the top of my head right now, but there was a company that actually developed the cure for herpes. I don't know, like, what I can say or not say on here. I'm trying to be a little, like, not get have issues going on, right? Like, with that kind of thing, but and they were shut down, and nobody, like, even heard about it or anything. And some information about their, like, formula was available to find, but I just found that so interesting. I was like, wow, that's crazy. But anyways, so yeah, there's something here with being healers, something in the medical field, and helping with that. So, Spirit, what do you have to say about the child labor situation? I mean, I went into my whole spiel about that. Like, maybe there's just, like, some kind of differing of beliefs, but with that. But how does that relate to the ghost and the Mothman? Spirit's saying for me to draw from the Les Vampires deck, which is kind of funny because Mothman got the True Master card, which is when you become, like, a head vampire, when you have, like, that vampire aspiration and you achieve it, you become a true vampire in The Sims. Alright, Spirit, so what's this child labor about? How many cards do you want to draw from the Les Vampires to explain this? 3. Okay. Once again, thank you for being reasonable, Spirit. We appreciate that. We're going to knock on this deck. I haven't knocked on a deck in a while, but I felt compelled to. So. I, like, barely have used this deck, so it's kind of hard to shuffle. I just have to flip to something. I'm definitely gonna work this deck out a little more. Cut it. Alright, 3 cards. Let's see. Nightmare, psychic protection, shields, bad dreams. Okay. And we're going to read from the book on these ones. The past, a prison, bitterness, grudge, refusal to let go. Well, that definitely aligns with accepting cannot change the situation. Past, a prison, bitterness, grudge, refusal to let go. Burnt by the sun, ambition, extension, reach. Huh. Nightmare, the past, a prison, burned by the sun. Yeah. So, What I'm getting right off the bat, before we look into what the book says, just on a very, like, basic level, I would say this is kind of touching on the idea of perhaps in the past, this couple experienced persecution for their beliefs. They were reaching for ambition, and they got burnt by the sun. They were imprisoned. Their life was a nightmare. And that ties into the White Moon in Virgo, because in a past life, they may have been a doctor, saved lives, or served via other avenues. So whatever they were doing, they were persecuted for it. And that's why they're having such a hard time in this lifetime being in that competitive mindset, because they're afraid that the same thing's going to happen, and then they're never going to be able to be together. And as far as the child labor in relation to this, in a past life, they may have saved children that were being used as slaves in whatever way. And then they were taken over by, whoever's in power that was persecuting, like, causing the issue with the children. Something like that, I'm getting. Alright, let's read from the book and see what the book says, and then go from there. So we got nightmare, psychic protection, shields, bad dreams. Sometimes we are at our most vulnerable when we sleep, or when we are attempting to sleep. This card speaks of the night, which is restless, of the soul that cannot find the space in which to close their eyes and fully relax, whose dreams are creating agitation and distress, and who feels terror when knowing the darkness is falling, rather than the joy of the dark mother called night. For the night can be a place of terror for many, where the past repeats, old wars are fought, deep wounds reopen, and betrayal of yesteryear is as fresh a cut as if it took place that day. For in the dreamscape there is no time as we know it. When we are awake, we are at the mercy of the consciousness and that energy we have with us, and all the hauntings of the world are nothing to the damnation of the twilight hours. If this is taking place for you or for another you care for, there's now a way for us to help you. This nightmare rider can enter your dreams. So fearless she is, and so fearsome her steed, that they will patrol the boundaries of your sleep, of your very dreams themselves. They will allow the gentler truths of your life to be recalled as you dream, and slowly over time, the night will not hold such terror for you. Your dreams will become a safer place into which you can swoon each night. Take your rest and arise refreshed. At night, there are special kinds of spirits who patrol, who hunt the sleeping sensitives, and they can and do steal the energies of many, especially those whose energy is bright, open, and innocent, and often those weakened by illness, stress, or other imbalances. This nightmare and her dark rider will protect you from these spirits. They will never hurt the one they are guarding. They are too honorable, too skilled, too powerfully devoted to their purpose for that, and they will ensure that no succubi, no limp ghost, no limp ghost, no hungry denizen of the night can steal through the cracks in your auric field and reap the energetic benefits of feeding on you. Dreams become beauty, sleep becomes peace, night is welcome, and the terrors of the past will change when she rides forward to guard your sleep. Blessing, time to understand that at night we can be vulnerable and begin to work consciously towards lessening the fear of darkness, reclaiming healthy sleep, diminishing the reliance you may have on sleeping aids. Dreams which disturb you will finally be understood and then depart for good. A shift in your own energy will seal auric entrances to irritating and greedy little entities who are stealing your energy. You now have great support in seeking peaceful sleep, a great and beautiful human need. So, and then I guess we'll read the rest. Curse. You may be living in fear and unable to understand how you can make changes to your sleep patterns. It is time to get information on how to create better sleep. Your sleep patterns may be sorry, I just heard a disturbance in the force. Your sleep patterns may be reversed, and you may be experiencing an almost nocturnal existence, which may be affecting your body's chemistry and magnetic field very strongly. Working with this card, know you are protected and shielded when you sleep. You will soon be having nourishing, healing sleeps from which you awaken revived and ready for each day. So yeah, I think somebody is definitely suffering from nightmares. Their past as a prison is self-explanatory with this. Like, they were trying to achieve great things, be a savior of sorts, and they were persecuted for it. Perhaps even in their sleep, they were hunted down and killed in their sleep. And that could be why in this lifetime that they're having nightmares all the time. They're having, issues with being assertive, with carrying out a legacy, with standing up for their beliefs, because they're afraid that they're going to end in death again. But Spirit is saying, if you do not attain this competing spirit, you're going to die anyway. Basically, it's going to be a spiritual death, an eternal misery if you don't. And so maybe not physically you won't, but like spiritually you will. And some would say that's definitely worse. Alright, so what's this? The past, the prison, burnt by the sun. I don't think we really need to read anymore. I feel like that was good enough. Spirit's basically saying, like, this this fear that's going on is, you're protected. Or whoever this resonates with, like, if you resonate with either of these characters or archetypes or whatever, you're having nightmares, you're protected. And none of the energetic vampires are going to be allowed to come into your auric field anymore. So that's a great thing. Alright, so to wrap up this reading, I asked Spirit, like, is there any other, like, sources that you'd like me to use to wrap this up, any messages? And I was guided to draw again from the beings deck. So there's a being that wants to come forward, and they want to pull some dialogue from this 52 essential conversations deck. So we're going to see what they want to say, and then we're going to close the reading out after that. I guess we can at least pull, like, a fortune. I like doing the fortune cookies. We do one of those. We got a little bit of time left, so So somebody's maternal cousin, biological, wants to say something. So for anybody that's watching right now, this may resonate with you. We got purpose. If you had the power to make the world a better place, then what would you do and why? What is something that you think you might like and want to try? Why? Beautiful card. If you had the power to make the world a better place, then what would you do and why? What is something that you might like to try and why? I love that. That's, you know, great thing to ask somebody. That really brings me to like the North Node. So we can draw a North Node for whoever's resonating with that. Maybe your cousin passed away recently or something like that, or you're like had a falling out with your cousin, and or maybe they even literally said that to you before in the past. So resonate even more. So we got Scorpio North Node, lessons and rewards around themes of balance between the spiritual and material worlds, letting go of obsessive qualities or relationships, learning to find peace in the chaos and tap into your darker desires. Ooh. Tapping into your darker desires. So that really ties in actually to like what I was saying, like to become uncooperative, satisfy your own concerns, you know, also with the balance, we also pulled the Cancer North Node, and that was talking about balance, embrace the balance between work and play, and this is saying to find peace in the chaos, accepting you cannot change the situation, okay, and balance between the spiritual and material worlds, work and play, spiritual and material. There needs to be a balance there. So I'm feeling called to draw from the Human Design deck. I just love this deck. I really do. It's probably like my favorite. And we're still going to do the fortunes. One of the fortunes. We'll do that last. We're going to do Human Design. I'm going to pull a spell card to help assist with this situation. We'll do one for Ghosty and one for Mothman. And then... And we'll do a third for anybody who does not resonate with Ghosty or Mothman. That will be for you. If you're still watching. Or watching at all, you know. So, for the Human Design, I'm going to pull a card for Ghost and Mothman, and then also we'll do a third for that as well, of anybody who's watching who doesn't resonate with these character archetypes. And this is going to be like what Human Design aspect is really helping you out in whatever like situation. So for the Ghosty archetype, we got Cross of Cycles. So the picture looks like a lady with a piece of cloth, and she's like dancing with it or something. Phases, drive, closure, and in reverse it'd be unchanging, greed, and rigid. Phases, drive. Oh, an interesting driver. Mothman's a driver. That's right. So it could also be like somebody that drives people to their destinies kind of thing. Drives people towards their goals. He leads like larger than themselves, like a legion of outcasts. It's pretty cool. So someone with the cross of cycles, let's put that will deal in themes of cycles. Hold on. I gotta put these other cards down for a second. Okay. Will deal in themes of cycles, evolution, and development. This cross is always a high responsibility cross, because I can, like, seriously not even read that. Hold on. We're gonna have to, like, just do this. Right? Hopefully you guys can see. It's a little blurry, but my camera's like not auto-focusing very well. Someone with the cross of cycles will deal in themes of cycles, evolution, and development. This cross is always a high responsibility cross because it contains the entire channels of maturation and transformation within it. All 4 incarnation cross gates are always in a channel. The channel of maturation holds the energy of beginnings, middles, and ends, maturing, developing, and restarting. The channel of transformation deals in adaptability and a drive to progress. While all living beings in the world live with greater cycles, people on this cross take on cycles as a substantial theme throughout life. Cycling, developing, ending, redoing, repeating, evolving, restarting. These are people who can start you on a path of transformation. These beings can act like tripwires to initiate a sequence of development. If someone with a cross of cycles crosses your path, be aware that the phases of your cycles might be amplified. So I asked what channel would be working for them. So I'm thinking this is actually like belonging to the Mothman character, and it's saying that like that's why they're like so good for each other, because he like drives this person to, or this being to go towards their purpose. And then for the driver, we pulled this card, which appears to be a woman who follows Hinduism. She's got the third eye marker on her forehead. I don't know what they call it, actually. If you know, comment down below. And she's holding a book and incense, I think it looks like. I love the artwork on these cards. It's so cool. There's something, ew, what is that? Again, with the cringy grossness, there's like something on this card. I've never even seen this card before, so I don't even know how that like got on there. It's kind of crazy. And then it just goes over here. All right. So infrastructure, community, bargains is in the upright, and then inertia, isolation, and forcing. So the global cycles of the earth have a special relationship with the cross of planning. It is the incarnation cross that the earth has been in for the past 400 years. The earth, unlike life forms, cycles through an incarnation cross theme every 400 years. From this perspective, you can see how the cross of planning has influenced the human race with aspects of infrastructure, civilization, community development, and a focus on details. This cross identifies problems and strategizes solutions. This cross has the entire channel of community within it, giving it a community-based theme. So this was, I think this is also the same thing like I just said. This is the channel that's working for the ghost archetype. I believe this is the channel that's working for Mothman, belongs to the ghost archetype, and this channel belongs to the Mothman, because oh wow, and look at cross. Remember we pulled that card? That's so interesting. And they both have crosses, cross of planning, cross of cycles, and because like there's so many different cards. Like we got, you know, like graciousness, the brainwave channel, cross of endeavor. I mean, there is like quite a few crosses, but like there's so many cards in this deck, guys. Like, let me show you. If anyone wants to get this deck is, I love this deck so much. I got it off of Amazon. I don't know if are you allowed to say that on here? 124 cards in this deck. I'm not sure. This is the back. I have like a Alice in Wonderland sticker on there. I don't know if it came with that. But that just like is on there for some reason. Anyway, my point was there's a lot of cards, okay? So like I love synchronicities or however you say that. And I think this is really, really beautiful. So this is basically saying that like this person is naturally very community oriented, loves the people, so to speak, but like really needs to look out for self first and stick to their guns and you know, where'd it go? This belief, what ought we do together, is causing problems for them. So, but anyway, let's continue reading this. So like this person's very strategic. They're good at strategizing solutions, and it seems like society has persecuted them for that a lot, but like their solutions, like Spirit's saying, like you really need to like stick to your guns here and like do what you need to do because you're correct. Like I feel like that's what's being said. Okay, so where were we? This cross identifies problems and strategizes solutions. This cross has the entire channel of community within it, giving it a community-based theme. The combination of community and infrastructure leads to a quality of expanding community resources. Oh, wow. And then that kind of goes with like wage inequality, living wage. So like they would be able to kind of like solve these problems. Like, accepting they cannot change the situation, though. Yeah, we still didn't really, like, as far as accepting that you cannot change the situation. Maybe the other people need, honestly, like, whoever is purporting, I don't know if I'm saying that word right, but or using that word, or if that even is a word, but like proposing or something. Purporting, I know that's a word, I think that's a word. Whoever is promoting, we'll use that word, promoting the situation of like inequality, they need to accept that they cannot change the situation, that there will be a change in the situation. There you go. The combination of community and infrastructure lends to a quality of expanding community resources. There is a role of support that those with this cross play, which can be a heaven birdie. What? It's like Freudian slip. Which can be a heavy burden of responsibility. If someone with the cross of planning crosses your path, be aware that a planner has come into your life, carrying with them themes of strategizing, community, bargains, and details. I love that. That's, like, so beautiful. All right, so we said we were going to do... one more for the viewer. One more for the viewer that doesn't resonate with us. The cross of the clarion. So that's somebody with like a trumpet. It reminds me of like the angel like blowing the trumpet. I wrote a poem with that in it, actually, that imagery. So the word clarion, let's do positive, negative. Messenger, announcing, alerting is positive, and the negative, misunderstanding, miscommunication, and shocking. The word clarion refers to a medieval trumpet, and a clarion call is a metaphor for a call to action. The cross of the clarion is a shocking messenger cross. People with this cross deal in shocking, initiating, and calling out new information. Those who carry this cross find themselves in situations where considerable impact is needed to begin a change. Being carriers of the 51st gate, they are harbingers of shattering old patterns. Clarions call out what change is occurring and initiate it into action. The 61st and 62nd gate pairings always bring themes of Okay, we had a little interruption there. I don't know if that was heard on there, but like, yeah. Anyway, so where were we? Okay. We had a wee one having a little problem. Had to go help him out. All right. So, clarions call out what change is occurring and initiate it into action. The 61st and 62nd gate pairings always bring themes of communicating the unknown and mediating information. This is why clarions communicate mutation. When something has evolved or mutated, a clarion has the potential to announce this mysterious new change. If someone with the cross of clarion crosses your path, be aware that shocking new change may be set forth into your life and that you may be brought a message. So somebody here, I guess, has this channel either coming into their life or you are the possessor of that channel. And essentially, I feel like it's saying that you're someone who is able to spread the word about situations that could bring great change to society and like initiate it into action. That's like super powerful. And then it's saying, like, if someone with this cross crosses your path, be aware that shocking new change may be set forth in your life and that you may be brought a message. So keep that in mind. Look out for that. That is very interesting and exciting. All right, so we're going to do a spell. What spell, Spirit, can help out with this situation for Ghosty? Help a business thrive. I'm going to pull them all, and then we're going to, I'm going to pull them all, and then we're going to read them. So, what spell would help out Mothman, Spirit? Oops. It's like shuffling the book by accident. Okay. Heighten your instincts. Oh. Heighten your instincts. Okay, and then what spell can help out the collective, Spirit? Or whoever's watching, the viewer, I meant to say. The collective. Protection when out and about. That's for whoever doesn't resonate with this. That's just watching. So, being a messenger, a clarion that can enact significant change in society, you would become a target and you would need protection for sure. So, all right, so for Ghosty, we got help a business thrive. And I mean, this definitely ties into everything. Like, whatever their mission is, that they're going to be serving others related to health, you know, this will help their business and reach with people. All right, so Peridot, we got, hold on, let me adjust the camera angle. So we got peridot crystals are wonderful for assisting with matters pertaining to the wealth and success of a business. Larger faceted gem quality peridot crystals aren't cheap, but smaller pieces like tumbled stones or chips are just as effective. It's essential. Cheaps. That's funny actually, because chips are cheap. Are just as effective. It's essential to perform this ritual on the business premises, so choose a place where you carry out most of your day-to-day practices. Black felt materials needed: black felt tip marker, 1 bay leaf, 1 peridot crystal, purple candle, purple drawstring bag. Ritual: do this on the first Thursday of a new moon phase. Using the marker, write the name of your business along with the word success on the bay leaf. Set up an altar and place the peridot on top of the bay leaf. Light the candle and say the following spell 7 times. This crystal is alive. My business will forever thrive. From above, I am blessed. Surround me now in your success. Ooh, I like that. When this candle has burned down, place the crystal and the bay leaf in the drawstring bag and leave it somewhere safe on your business premises. That is really cool. So for Mothman, heighten your instincts. We're big advocates of trusting our instincts. But like most people, there are times when we reject our intuition and then regret it afterward. It is important to listen to your soul. I feel like there's something here with that too. Courageous. And what else? Oh, like the instincts can detect 3 traits of a target automatically. So saying that like this character, whoever resonates with the Mothman, or if you know somebody that reminds you of them, they need to trust their instincts about people, because they're able to automatically detect at least 3 traits of any given being automatically. I think I already said that. Okay, so we're big advocates of trusting our instincts, but like most people, there are times when we reject our intuition and then regret it afterward. It is so important to listen to your soul. If something doesn't feel right or you get a creepy feeling about a person, this is an instinctive warning bell, and you must take notice. This spell will help you get more in tune with your intuition. Materials needed: Benetoite crystal. Benetoite. I can't say that, guys. I don't know how to say that. 1 whole lemon, 1 bay leaf, bowl, yellow candle, spring water or rainwater, enough to fill the bowl, and cotton balls. Rainwater. That's interesting. I've never heard anybody say to use rainwater for a spell. Slice the lemon in half and place it along with the bay leaf and crystal in the bowl. Set this on your altar, light the candle, place it next to the bowl, and recite the following spell 3 times. I perceive my truth, my inner voice. The fact I heed, I won't misread. Or the facts I heed, I won't misread. I perceive my truth, my inner voice. The facts I heed, I won't misread. I just misread that. There you go. While the candle is burning, maybe I need to do this. While the candle is burning, pour the water into the bowl and allow everything to steep until the candle has burned down. Drain the water into a clean container and put it in the fridge. Every day, soak a cotton ball with the magical water and place it on the center of your forehead for a few seconds. This potion should last for at least a month. That is so cool. All right, and then what about for the person watching? Protections when out and about. So this is for the Clarion, the viewer that's watching that doesn't resonate with the ghost or the Mothman archetype. So protection when out and about. Every experience, good or bad, causes a person to unconsciously express an emotion. That energy can sometimes engulf your aura, causing you to empathically take in emotions out of sadness or anger. Fluorite is renowned for being a powerful protective stone that not only guards against negative vibration, but also acts as a barrier, making any bad energy bounce right off you. It cleanses its user from the outside and from within, so it not only forms a shield around you, it also boosts self-confidence and stabilizes your aura. Many witches like to carry a piece of fluorite or wear one as a piece of jewelry. Interesting. 2 large white altar candles. These are materials needed. Stick of dragon's blood resin incense, fluorite crystal or piece of fluorite jewelry. Ritual: light the altar candles and then light the incense stick and place the fluorite in your hand. Hold the crystal over the top of the incense and bathe the stone in the smoke while reciting the incantation below 3 times. All negativity you will detect. I charge your power to guard and protect. Encircle me with luminous light. Keep me safe both day and night. Place the crystal on the altar. Allow the candles to burn beside it for a few hours, then blow them out. I love that for you guys. I really do. That's awesome. All right, and then we're going to pull a fortune. We'll pull 3 just because that's what we're doing here. 1 for Ghosty. There's more to balance. Let's see. There's more to balance than not falling over. Wow. And then what did we get here with the Black Moon? Embrace balance between work and play. And then we got, or that's Cancer North Node. And then what was the other one? Was it Black Moon? No, it was Scorpio North Node, right? Yeah, over here. Right here. Scorpio North Node. Balance between the spiritual and material worlds. There's more to balance than not falling over. And clumsy. Oh my god! How did that tie in? Oh my god. Remember? Because, like, it was saying in the very beginning, Spirit said, like, this person is clumsy. Where is it? Dude. There's more to balance than not falling over. Spirit, you're so funny. Oh my god. I love this. That's so cool. Seriously. Wow. Alright, and then for Mothman, what do we have? 42.7% of all statistics are made up on the spot. Okay. Oh, so you know what? That's kind of like telling me something of all statistics are made up on the spot. So, to me, that the first thing I thought of was like how it was saying the ghost character, which would be their romantic partner, interest, whatever, is very good at strategizing and like analytical skills, and it's saying 42.7% of all statistics are made up on the spot, and I just feel like it's saying like theirs aren't, like their statistics aren't, so like you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, like don't don't hype all the BS with all these social contracts, because it's mostly BS and made up. Yeah. Which would be BS. But yeah. And I actually pulled 2, so like for the viewer, so we'll do both. Hold the door open for others. With that clarion call, hold the door open for others. New and rewarding opportunities will soon develop for you. That's really cool. So like if that clarion energy is coming in for you through somebody else, I feel like that's what that's saying. And if it's through you, it's asking you to hold the door open for others, to use that channel to help others. And only you will know, like, in your heart, like, what that is, what that's about, like, how you can enact that. I feel like, at least I feel like that you will know. Whatever you think of first, that's the answer. So, all right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this reading and that something resonated with you or made you laugh or feel something. I don't know. Hopefully good. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and or night, depending if you're watching this in the day or night, or you split it up and watching some of it in the day, some of it in the night. And hopefully I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.